The Book of Job by Marcy Niehaus. Today we're going to talk about the story of Job in the Bible. I'm going to show you how, even all those years ago, it still relates to how we feel today and how we react when we have troubled times, which we all do. I'm going to start by reading a little bit out of the Book of Job, so that you get an idea of the kind of man Job was and how he was after God's heart. Job 1. In the land of Uz there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among the people of the East. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." This was Job's regular custom. Job 6. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan replied. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse your face." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." So there you have it. God allowed Satan to test Job. The following chapters describe devastating events that took place and took everything from Job. He lost his wealth, his children, and even his wife. But after everything was taken from Job, he still did not curse God. As he suffered and lost everything, heaven listened. It was as if there was a trial going on in heaven. The ultimate question may have been, is God good when everything goes bad? Can we trust God even when things aren't going our way, in the good and the bad? Job said, "The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed is the name of the Lord." But still, Job continued to suffer. Job had some friends that came to talk to him. They saw his suffering and his anguish, and after 7 days, finally, Job speaks. He spoke what his friends may thought was a little bit of blasphemy. He wished that God had never let him be born. His friends responded, and this went on for many, many chapters in the Bible, in the book of Job. The friends tell Job that he must have sinned because they believed that God used suffering to punish evil. They encouraged Job to repent. However, Job was steadfast in the fact that his problems were not due to him sinning, and that God does not punish the wicked, but though he is still being punished and suffering, even though he has been a righteous man. Job wants to hear from God. I think at this point, Job kind of wants to put God on trial. He wants to know, why do bad things happen to good people? And he wants God to answer. But isn't that just like us today? As soon as things go wrong, as soon as something doesn't go the way we wanted it to go, or it could have just been a tragedy, we feel abandoned by God. We feel unseen, and sometimes we even feel ashamed. We can't understand how a loving God would allow bad things to happen to those that love him. Job begins to beg for help from the heavens, but instead, Job is put on the stand. God starts asking him questions, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Job 38. Who is this who darkness counsel by words without knowledge? Now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To what were its foundations fastened? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Who shut in the sea with doors when it burst forth and issued from the womb? When I made the clouds its garment and thick darkness its swaddling band? When I fixed my limit for it and set bars and doors? When I said, this far you may come, but no farther, and here your proud waves must stop? Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it? It takes on form like clay under the sea. It stands out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and the upraised arm is broken. Have you entered the springs of the sea? Or have you walked in search of the depths? Have the gates of death been revealed to you? Or have you seen the doors of the shadow of death? Have you comprehended the breadth of the earth? Tell me, if you know all this. Where is the way to the dwelling of light? And darkness, where is its place? That you might take it to its territory, that you may know the paths to its home. Do you know it because you were born then? Or because the number of your days is great? Have you entered the treasury of snow? Or have you seen the treasury of hail? I have reserved for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war. By what way is light diffused, or the east wind scattered over the earth? Who has divided a channel for the overflowing water, or a path for the thunderbolt, to cause it to rain on the land where there is no one, a wilderness in which there is no man, to satisfy the desolate waste, and cause to spring forth the growth of tender grass? Has the rain a father, or who has begotten the drops of the dew? From whose womb comes the ice, and the frost of heaven? Who gives it birth? The waters harden like stone, and the surface of the deep.
These questions from God to Job go on for pages and pages in the Bible. And what is Job's response? Now, God doesn't give Job an actual answer. He doesn't tell him about the council and the accuser Satan. Instead, after this virtual tour of the universe, by telling him all that there is, all the details of ways that we can't even imagine, God even shows Job two wondrous beasts and says how great they are. And God says they aren't evil. They're part of this great, amazing, complex world and plan that He has created. Job is reminded that he can't understand God or the big picture. God's point seems to be that why are you questioning me when I have created everything in this complex world that you couldn't begin to understand? So finally, we see Job accept that he should not blame God. Job's life is restored to him. He's more prosperous than before, if that's even possible. And God says that Job's friends were wrong, and they did not speak accurately about Job. God did not want us to take those friends' voices, their arguments against Job, as truths, because they were not. And isn't that just like our lives today? We want answers. We can rarely have faith in difficult situations. We have to continue to remind ourselves that there's a bigger picture and a bigger plan for us. We may not understand it here on earth, but we can rest assured that whatever happens, God is for us. Satan tried to argue that people only love God because of the gifts that he gives them. Job proves Satan wrong, doesn't he? Will you be able to do the same in your life? Will you be able to trust God in the mountains and in the valleys, just like Job learned to do in the book of Job? I hope so. I know that's what I'm trying to do in my life.
Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about the book of Job and how to trust God even in the valleys.